edition of the Contractors' Secret Weapon weekly podcast with your hosts, Dave Negri. This program is dedicated to helping contractors, remodelers, painters, roofers, roof cleaners, and business owners in the construction industry gain an unfair advantage over the competition. This program supplies you with information that the competition doesn't even know exists. This session brought to you by ContractorsSecretWeapon.com.
Hey, this is Dave Negri with Contractors' Secret Weapon, and today I have Chris Miles with us. He's been on with us before. If you don't remember Chris, he's the cash flow expert. He's a leading authority on how to quickly create cash flow for thousands of his clients, entrepreneurs, and others internationally. He's an author, speaker. He's been on this show before, and he's featured in U.S. News, CNN Money, Bankrate.com. Entrepreneur on Fire, helping thousands of internationally get fast and financial results. And in fact, his average client finds an average of $34,000 extra per year in what they already have. And he consistently teaches audiences how to do what no other financial advisor can or will, and that's achieve financial prosperity now, while spending time doing what they love the most, not in 20 years or 30 years and hope that you can live well on what you're retired. So I'm just excited to have Chris back because there's more than one way to profit from your business, and that's why I like bringing people like Chris on. And today we're going to talk about monetize your divine genius and how not to be a commodity. Before we get into the conversation with you, I just want to do a shout out to our sponsors who help promote Contractors' Secret Weapon and just some of the things that they have in store for you, our listeners. Hey, is your phone ringing enough? Do you want it to ring more with highly motivated and qualified buyers that contact you, the contractor, directly? No more waiting for the phone to ring. Just answer that phone. Best Home Services leads are dedicated to making your phone ring with motivated buyers that call you directly. There's no obligation to talk with them. Just go to ContractorsSecretWeapon.com/money. Fill out the form to secure your discount on the setup fee. Do it today. This special will not last forever. Check them out at ContractorsSecretWeapon.com/money.
Running a small business is no easy task, and I should know because I had a service company for almost 10 years. I am the founder of a software called Radius Bomb, and it's unbelievable. And for all the listeners of Contractor's Secret Weapon, we have a special offer for you to check out. If you want to send hyper-targeted, laser-focused, super personalized postcards to your exact prospects using a map while sitting in your underwear, then go to ContractorsSecretWeapon.com/Radius Bomb, and we'll give you your first 100 postcards for free. Just go to ContractorsSecretWeapon.com/Radius Bomb.
Chris, I'm so excited to have you on because I listen to your podcast all the time.
Hey, I'm excited to be on yours too. I love your podcast.
Cool. So today, we had talked a little bit earlier about, how do you get to, be the genius and not be the commodity. And so I've talked about this before. But, it's like talking to my wife. She hears what I say, but she doesn't pay attention. So bringing someone like you on the show just, reinforces some of the things I had to say, but you can say it better.
That's right. Yeah. Absolutely. You really can. I call it divine genius because we all have this unique fingerprint, right, that we can leave on this planet. We all have these unique makeup of our passions, skills, education, experiences, strengths or gifts, talents, things like that make up who we are. And when we truly understand who we are and what we have to offer, because as you might have heard me say on the last show, dollars follow value. The more value you create for somebody else, the more you can ask for compensation for it, right? And so it's not about how much time you're involved in your business or how much time you take. It shouldn't be a time-based type of transaction that you do. It's a value-based transaction. How much value do you really create in a way that people want to exchange money for it because they believe they're getting a better deal than the money that they give you, right?
Absolutely.
And the best way to do that is to figure out what is your real, as many people will say, your niche. What makes you so unique that no one else on this planet can duplicate you, that can duplicate to be exactly who you are. And when you figure that out, that's when you become invaluable to people.
Right. So it's like you're not just a painter. You become an artist, or you become the person to that particular client who looks out after their home and the value of their home, so that they don't have to worry about that. So you've stepped yourself up above what everyone else does. So you're doing more.
Exactly. It's really just taking your strengths and just magnifying it more, right? Yeah. And focusing on that. I mean, because like you said, like using the example of a painter. I mean, there's plenty of people out there painting, right? That can paint a house and do things that way. But for example, is there a particular style that you use that makes you unique? Because obviously there's not everybody does the same techniques or same things. Is there something that you do that not many others do?
Right.
Do you prefer indoor versus outdoor, or vice versa? Do you have this eye for detail? Like, are you really good at the colors? Because I'll tell you, we just had our living room painted, and we interviewed several painting contractors. And it was interesting where one guy, he actually said, he's like, I have this real eye for color, and matching your flooring, I wouldn't go with this color. Like, you're showing me a few of the color samples here. I would actually go with this one instead, because that one actually wouldn't look as good. And I've talked to other painters, and they were like, yeah, whatever paint you want, whatever color, that's good.
Yeah, well,
but for him, the thing that gave him,
great, because he sort of helped you with the process. He jumped in and actually became, in a sense, your consultant without paying for a consultant.
Exactly. And so we all have this unique thing that we can bring to the table. Is just figuring out what that is and what people really truly value. And it makes it so much easier to make money. Like, it sets yourself apart from the competition.
Right.
In fact, what you'll realize, there is no competition. I mean, it's just like when I remember my wife now, my wife and I actually used to be competitors in the same industry, And it's interesting because people would ask her, well, do you do the same thing that Chris does? And she's like, oh, no, of course not, And she would get offended by it, right? Wow. She's like, no, like, he doesn't do what I do. I'm awesome, But when people would ask me that question occasionally, I'd say, like, no, like, I don't do what she does, and she doesn't do what I do, and that's perfect. Like, I'm awesome. She can't touch me with a 10-foot pole at what I do, because when it comes to cash flow and almost like being like the anti-financial advisor for business owners, and getting people to retire today, she doesn't even touch that stuff. She's all about the mindset and the emotional stuff, which I don't touch. So really, there's room for both of us. We have our own unique ways of doing it, our unique niches, and that's what sets us apart versus being so vanilla that you just blend in with the rest of the crowd.
Yeah, that's the awesome part. I know. I remember one guy, and this is really hilarious. He was a painter, and he sprayed everything. And it could be a multi-million-dollar home, and he'd spray everything. And he was such an artist at what he did, the way he taped everything up, the way he taped all the furniture, taped up the floors, that he was so mesmerizing that the people would actually stay home and watch him put everything together.
That's awesome.
And I don't know if it was out of fear because he told him he was going to spray, or because of the following that he had of people. This guy's really awesome. You really need to watch him do what he does. And then there was another guy that I know, and I want to try to get him on the show someday, is that what he did to make himself unique is he put cameras. He did a lot of vacation homes and stuff for wealthy people. So what he would do is he'd put cameras up in all the areas that he was painting so they could see the progress.
Right. That's interesting.
Yeah. I mean, that's really unique. And I mean, from a lot of different standpoints. One is he didn't have to go check on the job all the time. From a security standpoint, the people knew that they saw everything that was going on all the time, but not only that, they could actually see the progress that was going on. And so I thought that was really, really unique. Talk about no competition and naming your price. That's to the ultimate.
Well, and there's so many different ways to get niche too, because that's awesome because you have like techniques and skills and things like that, right? Well, there's also things like you niching your market too. Going for a certain market. I mean, I know with mine, I started going more with the business owner route because I tend to see that business owners were more open to doing things outside the box.
Yes.
Versus person that works as an employee, where they work their usual 8 hours a day, think they should save in their crappy 401k and things like that. It's like, no, like I want people that want more out of life than just security or a paycheck. I want someone who wants freedom, and so it's interesting because like you keep finding different places to niche, and even with me, like finding a combination of things, because I'll tell you, like even the cash flow process I use, I actually trained several financial advisors and insurance guys how to use it, and then when I try to follow up with them, they hadn't figured it out. And which I'm like, you're a financial guy. You should be able to figure this out. This is not hard. But see, that was my genius, right?
Right.
For me, I could see the big picture. I'm really good at seeing how everything works together. Where most people, if they do something, they're so like laser focused in what they do, which is great in certain situations. Sure. But they'd be so laser focused they wouldn't see everything else. And so I would work better as a strategist, getting everybody on the team to work together and see the big picture and make it work right.
Yeah.
And it kind of makes it fun. And what's interesting, too, is this is another place you find a niche, is your passion. Wherever you have passion, I guarantee you will get better faster than the person that doesn't.
Yes.
And that's one of the biggest reasons. When I would talk to some of those financial guys, I'd say, well, this isn't hard. Why don't you figure it out? They're like, well, I'm just not that excited about it. Like, oh, okay. So even though you have the capacity, it's not like you're dumb, like you have the brain.
Yeah.
But if you don't have the passion, you won't continue to perfect and master it. So another thing that can really like set you apart is your passion, right? Passion is just so essential and so critical to amplifying and really exponentially increasing your talents anyways. Like I noticed with other financial advisors, I would teach them and train them to use my cash flow process because I wanted to spread the word and get more people to do it. And what I'd find out is that a lot of them would come back later and say, yeah, I just don't get it. And I'm thinking, you're smart enough. You should figure this out. But what I realized as I talked to them, they said, well, I'm just not that excited about it. Can I just go back to selling crappy mutual funds or whatever, And I'm like, oh, I guess that's it. Like that passion is big. Where for me, like I personally, one personal experience is big too. My personal experience of overcoming a $16,000 a month deficit, $1 million in debt and coming out of that and getting resourceful, like being able to take that became part of my passion and my mission to help others do the same. Not just from a debt hole, right? But actually in their case, doing it from a place where they could create more, like even if they're doing well financially, how can you amplify that even better? Because now you're in a better place than I was, right? And so that's the kind of thing that passion can do, is that it allows you to not just become a tradesman, but become a craftsman, a master at your craft.
Right. Well,
you got to have that.
Yeah, from your experience from the very beginning, you had to do it as a need.
Yeah.
And so the need created your genius in a sense, because and then from that point of the genius became the passion. It's like, wow, I could do this. Then I should be able to help others do the same thing, and help them get probably better results than I got. So that's so if we could put that into each one of our trades, that would exponentially grow us into being better at what we do and attracting better clients.
Absolutely. I've worked with a lot of chiropractors, like 300 of them to be exact, over the last 7 years. Dentists as well, physical therapists, a lot of people in the medical industry too, and they all are kind of fighting because they think they're also commodities as well, right?
Right.
And it's interesting. Like I just went to a new chiropractor. I took my wife to a new chiropractor last week, and I got to tell you, the passion was oozing out of that guy. I mean, seriously. He could have been the crappiest chiropractor in the world, but because he was so excited about what he did, and especially when he realized like we wanted a specific niche, we wanted not just someone who could, pop and pray that you get better, right?
Yeah.
But we wanted somebody who kind of was into the woo-woo world, like emotions and that kind of stuff. And he's like, oh, that's what I do. Like that's my niche. And he's like, only half of my patients even want that. We're like, no, we want the full gamut. He's like, oh yeah, and he's like almost rocking in his chair as he's talking to us, and we're like, I don't know what he's having, but I'll have what he's having,
Yeah, because he was just excited about it. Someone understood him and what he wanted to do.
Yeah.
And so, that's...
Yeah, and it's funny that he felt he had to hide that part of him.
Yeah, yeah. So I wonder if he... that's a great lesson for everybody is to, whatever you're passionate about, you need to bring that out in the forefront of whatever you're doing in the way you contact your clients or work with them or your potential clients. It's just because that's going to make the difference on whether you get hired. Because I'm sure that when you went to the chiropractor and if you had not mentioned the things that he had that you liked, then you would have looked somewhere else because he hadn't fulfilled what you were looking for.
That's right.
So did you?
It reminds me.
Did you ask him? What he not presented, or and I'm trying to think of the right word. Did you ask? When you were going looking for the chiropractor, you're saying, "Well, I'm looking for this, 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 and this," or did he say, "I've got this, this, and this that we have available for you"?
So we got referred to him by my chiropractor.
Okay.
So I have a chiropractor now. My wife has one, right?
Okay.
And I went to my chiropractor. I says, "Who do you know that does not just chiropractic, but they're soft touch, and they even deal with like emotions and like things that are trapped in your body that way?"
Oh wow.
And she thought, she's like, and I knew she knew pretty much everybody in the state because she was a head of the chiropractic association at one point in the state of Utah. And she said, for a second she said, "I don't think I do." And then she said, "No, I know somebody. Check out this guy. In fact, he even lives closer to you than I am. He's actually closer to your neighborhood.
Cool.
Go look him up." And so when we looked him up, the receptionist said, "Here's the technique he uses. Feel free to watch the videos." In fact, we researched the technique even before we saw him.
Okay. And
when my wife saw it, she says, "Oh, that's the guy for me."
Yeah.
And so when we went to him, he just thought he was going to start from scratch, from bare bones, from the beginning. And we just said, "Here's exactly what we want." And that's when he got excited because he's like, "Oh yeah, that's me."
Cool.
But you're right. Like he admitted that he was a little bit reserved about sharing everything that he does, even though he has two techniques that he meshes together that makes him unique that I don't know of anybody that does it just like him.
Wow.
And if he would have came out with that with the gate, I wonder in his own marketing, I haven't really looked at his marketing, but I know he's not marketing out there big time.
Sure.
I wonder if his own marketing, he would get even more business if he just focused on that and says, "Hey, this is what makes me unique." In fact, we actually connected him with somebody that does conferences for healers that we said this would be a perfect match. And then she came back on Facebook just today and said, "Yes, I want him at that conference. How do I get a hold of him?"
Cool.
Yeah, that's what I mean by that. Like when you start to have that niche, like people are like, "Hey, there's nobody that does this. This is amazing." And when you have the passion with it, along with the gifts and the talents and the skills, that combination, that's when you just set yourself apart.
Right. And you don't have to be a chiropractor to fall into that
Nope.
type of category. It could be any type of business. Any type.
Yeah. I'll give you an example. I did it when I was a stock coach at one point. I did that for a few years where I taught people how to trade stocks and options. Now, I was in a company where there was 50 coaches, right? Mm-hmm. It was back in the 2006, 2005 era when there's definitely a lot of people buying those kind of programs.
Sure.
And I remember they hired me. They actually told me flat out, they said, "We know you don't have a lot of trading experience, but we know you have a lot of teaching experience. So we're hiring you for that reason. So basically, we know you kind of suck, but at least you do one thing right." But here's what's interesting. And so this is what I did to help with that. I said, at first I was like, "Okay, well, let me learn the ropes." And I started to learn the techniques and strategies that they taught. And pretty soon I mastered it. It was easy, right? It wasn't that hard for me to grasp onto for my own unique reasons, right? I just grasped onto it.
Right.
The thing that was cool though is I started to get bored. And so I'm like, you know what? This is kind of lame. I'm just teaching the same thing over and over. I can do so much more for these people. And so I remember they used to teach 16 sessions. 8 of them was out of their manual. And the other 8 was just free to do whatever. And so I would start, instead of just teaching their manual, I would teach my own stuff. I'd say, here's the things I understand about economics and how it all works. And here's the things to look for. And it would be a fun conversation. I would have fun with it.
Yeah.
And what was so cool is that people were like, "Yeah, this is good stuff. Like nobody's taught me this." I'm like, "I know. It's just me." So I took my own stuff and made it my own, and that's the thing. I made it my own kind of career. And I kid you not, I actually became the second highest rated coach out of those 50 coaches.
Wow.
The only reason I wasn't highest rated is because that guy was taking on like 50 or 60 people a week, and I was working part-time like 30. I didn't want to work that much. So he beat me because of sheer numbers.
Yeah.
But when it came to even percentages, I got the highest percentage of high reviews that got me paid bonuses and such because I stopped just doing what they asked me to do. I started to make it my own.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we all need to do in all of our professions is how do we keep making it our own, like infusing the things that we are passionate about or that we have knowledge in and mixing it together, stirring this little pot that gives you this unique, color, right? That is just not out there. We all have our unique color, this unique fingerprint we can leave on the planet. That's what you do.
So you got to be the highest rated coach because you you turned your teaching into passion. You turned what you did into passion. So we're in order to not be the commodity, everyone needs to become passionate about what they do, and that sets them apart from the crowds, and I'm sure that if you were in your own, well, it got you more bonuses, so that was a positive thing. But if you were in your own business, you could have commanded a higher price because now it's not the basic stuff. This is stuff that actually my people are learning. How does our audience get in touch with you so that if they want to know more about how they can create more income with the income that they have, how to I read your book, the one on rice and beans, that was awesome, and actually I downloaded your spreadsheet on finding out where I'm spending my money in the right and the wrong places. So all those are available at Chris's website. So how does everyone get a hold of you, Chris?
Yeah, if you want that ebook, you can go to www.moneyripples.com. That's MONEYRIPPLES.com. So if you like to read things or see things, it's perfect. If you're a listener, I also have my own podcast show called The Chris Miles Money Show that you can find on iTunes, or you can download from whatever your favorite podcast app is. Or if you just have questions, you can just shoot me an email, Chris with a CH at moneyripples.com.
Cool. Awesome. This has been awesome. And I really appreciate you spending the time to go over all this stuff because I always find it interesting and lots of fun to talk about money because, if chickens bought things, we could talk about chickens, right?
That's right. No, money's a great topic. You got to have it in business, man.
Oh yeah,
it's huge,
and it's better to have it than not.
Exactly. Especially
before we get into the conversation, I just want to do a shout out to our sponsors who help promote Contractors Secret Weapon and just some of the things that they have in store for you, our listeners. Hey, is your phone ringing enough? Do you want it to ring more with highly motivated and qualified buyers that contact you, the contractor, directly? No more waiting for the phone to ring. Just answer that phone. Best Home Services leads are dedicated to making your phone ring with motivated buyers that call you directly. There's no obligation to talk with them. Just go to contractorsecretweapon.com/money. Fill out the form to secure your discount on the setup fee. Do it today. This special will not last forever. Check them out at contractorsecretweapon.com/money.
Running a small business is no easy task, and I should know because I had a service company for almost 10 years. I am the founder of a software called Radius Bomb, and it's unbelievable. And for all the listeners of Contractor's Secret Weapon, we have a special offer for you to check out. If you want to send hyper-targeted, laser-focused, super personalized postcards to your exact prospects using a map while sitting in your underwear, then go to contractorsecretweapon.com/Radius Bomb, and we'll give you your first 100 postcards for free. Just go to contractorsecretweapon.com/Radius Bomb.
Thanks for joining us for another weekly episode of the Contractors Secret Weapon podcast with Dave Negri. We would love to hear your comments about this episode, so visit us online at www.contractorsecretweapon.com and let us hear your thoughts. If you were listening via iTunes, please leave us a positive review. The more positive reviews we receive, the more other contractors will benefit from this show. Thank you, and see you next time here on the Contractor's Secret Weapon Podcast.